Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Student Hacks podcast. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Kelly. And today's topic will be all about studying, specifically our good old friend time management. We need time management so we can allocate time to study, take notes, and overall build good habits for this upcoming spring 2020 semester. As far as I know, autumn 2020 was a bit yikes.
That's true, and it's still the third week of uni, and even if it seems like it's still pretty early, tutorials have started, assignment dates are coming out, groups are being formed in classes, and most of us are adjusting to the blended online and face-to-face classes.
I don't know about you, but that already sounds overwhelming to me. Do we even have room to fit in our lives outside uni?
Surprisingly, yes we do. Kelly and I have cracked the code and will share some of our experiences and advice on time management and note-taking methods. After all, being organized early in the semester can set the tone for the rest of it. Warning, it's about to get really nerdy in here.
I'm gonna start off with how I get organized. Before diving into content, I like to organize and visually see where assignments are due. To do this, I set up a table with the first column outlining the dates of the semester from week 1 to finals. The following columns are then allocated for each subject. From there, I type in what is due based on the due dates in the subject outline. This has really helped me see where StuVacs are and figure out which weeks I'll be busy. My template has been included in the How to Uni module on Getting It Done, which is linked in the resources below.
That sounds like a great idea, Kelly. And it's super convenient to have all of the deadlines written on one document rather than checking each of the subject outlines every day to see if you've forgotten about an assignment or an upcoming quiz.
Yep, that's so true, Rachel. You might be wondering, what about week-to-week tasks? I like to write my tasks down on a post-it note as I assign each subject with a post-it note color so it's easier to track.
Well, I love organizing myself with to-do lists, and I usually write up each of my tasks on a post-it note and categorize them from least to most urgent. This allows me to get through the most urgent ones first, but still reminds me that I have other, less urgent things due sometimes in the future. I also found that using different colored post-its for each of my subjects really useful. And it also looked really pretty on my bedroom wall.
Pinterest vibes.
What's even more satisfying is seeing how I progress with my tasks every week, and I have taken on the habit of rewarding myself whenever I remove a sticky note from my wall.
That's a really nice initiative. I always enjoy having a post-it free wall. It gives me a peace of mind that I can go and relax and play some Animal Crossing. What do you usually reward yourself with, Rachel?
Well, it really depends on the day for me. Like, sometimes all I want to do is take a long nap. Other days I like to plan and go out for lunch or dinner with friends. It can even be little things, like watching a YouTube or Netflix video and lazing around for the rest of the day on TikTok. Whatever it is, rewarding myself becomes really helpful for me because I look forward to doing the things that make me happy.
Yes, that's so true. At the end of the day, you should strive to do at least one thing that makes you happy. That's why it's important to manage your time efficiently to make sure you have time left in your day to do happy things, like having a chat with friends and just chilling. So, for me to manage my time, I use the Pomodoro method. It is setting a timer for either 25 or 50 minutes. Once that timer is up, you take a 5 to 10 minute break. You rinse and repeat this 5 times. On your 5th time, instead of taking a short break of 5 to 10 minutes, it is a 15 to 30 minute break. Once that is up, you rinse and repeat the entire process. I would recommend this method to keep yourself concentrated on a task and learn how long it takes you to complete a task.
If you feel like this may not be useful for you, I also do use the Countdown app on my Mac. This app shows me the amount of time left to finish a task. And not only does it help me create a deadline, but it also puts a good amount of pressure on myself.
As you can see, time management is different for everyone. What might be helpful for Rachel and I to stay organized may not be so helpful for you, so don't feel discouraged. It's still the start of the semester, so there is plenty of time to get to know what works best for you.
Kelly and I spoke to David Taplin, a learning skills counsellor from UTS Counselling, and got his top tips on time management and note-taking.
Hi there, I'm David Taplin. I'm one of the counsellors in the counselling service, which is part of Student Services Unit. My specific role is the Learning Skills Counsellor, and I meet with students in conversations about how to learn effectively and how to be efficient and organised with study.
What would be 3 key tips that you would give to a student about studying in general?
Well, the first tip I would have would be planning. So at the start of the semester, you should plan your semester. And if you look online with the various support that UTS puts up, the How to Uni section from the Student Learning Hub has got some really useful tools around planning processes. And so I would hope that a student would plan their semester. That is, they know when all their assessments are due, but also additionally have reflected about how long it's likely to take to complete those assessments. So not only do they have in their calendar system a reminder about when something is due, they've got a reminder about when they need to start doing the question analysis, when they need to start doing the background reading, or their target to complete most of the background reading, a time to write their first draft. If something's due in week 12, that's broken down into a series of steps from possibly as far away as week 6 or week 7 up to week 12. The second tip would be with note taking, to really think into the why you're taking the notes, how you're going to use them, and think of notes as being something that actually don't represent a moment in time, but you'll continually come back to them and elaborating them and detailing them as you're learning and understanding changes, which might mean periodically, particularly if you have an exam type assessment, that at a certain point you actually regenerate a completely new set of notes as part of that process of preparing for the exam. And again, the error I sometimes see students making when they come to that regeneration of a new set of notes in preparation for exam type assessments is they generate a more detailed version of notes, whereas actually they need to be generating a more kind of summarized version of the notes, because really the information and material should be in your head, not in the notes. My final tip for effective study would relate to looking after your brain, which involves regular exercise. There's a large amount of research that shows physical exercise helps your brain to function better. And there's also an enormous amount of research that shows sleep is really important to your brain. When you're asleep, your brain is doing 2 things. It's repairing itself and it's consolidating memory processes. So if you've done a whole lot of hard thinking during the day or learning some new stuff, sleep is a really important step of that being organized and consolidated into your long-term memory.
You have reached the end of this episode. Now, to recap on how to manage your time effectively.
Step 1. Plan.
Step 2. Understand why you are writing notes.
Step 3. Take care of yourself.
We hope you find these tips helpful.
See you in our next podcast episode. Until then,
stay organized.